them. It's very calming, much like how horses go in, they like their stall in the barn, they feel secure, cats feel secure in the traps. And once we have them, we always cover them up totally. I'll grab a towel to show. So they can't see out. Oh, thank you. So there are many kinds of traps. I'm just gonna be right on you guys. This is the best. It's a True Catch 30 LTD. I've been trapping for I don't know how many years now, many years. Yeah, many years. So I've used a bunch of traps. I find this to be the best. It's never too small. It's never too anything. It works perfectly. That being said, other traps can still get the job done, and if you're trapping or need us to help you, something kind of a loan out trap. So I will show you guys how they all work. But this is your basic trap. The cat's gonna go in one side that's gonna open up, and you're gonna have food in the other, the bait. And you need the cat to walk through the trap to hit a trip plate so it will close. So with this trap, this is an extra class. You open the back door, just comes up like that, it locks so they can't get it open. And you would put a little bit of food right back here. The food always has to be behind the trip plate. So you can't use their favorite bowl, it doesn't matter. A paper plate, it has to be small enough to go here. It could be a can. We don't like to feed them out of cans, it's not recommended, you can cut a tongue. But for trapping, it's neat and easy and it fits perfectly. Because I can't tell you how many times I've had pieces of paper plates lined up in the back of my Jeep, trying to spoon it out, and then once you're like, you know what, a can is nice a lot of times. So you can even, put some on a paper, put some in a can. So a can fits nicely really here, or a little bit of food. Close it up, and then they're going to walk in this side. So this specific trap, the rings come up. I'll have you guys, we'll do hands on. Later, I'm gonna show you all. Rings come up, you slide the door open. And this is just a pressure system. You see that trip plate moving in the back? So it's a pressure system, it rests against one another. So now it's open, the cat comes in to get the food. Let's see if my pinky will do it. Of course I have to get the one. I also have exceptionally weak pinkies, I guess, so. Okay. Yes, this is a brand new trap. So, anyway, I think you guys understood the concept. Yeah. So, cat comes in, boom, it closes, okay? So you have the cat in a trap, and you have to cover it totally. You can even put 2 towels on. So you guys know the concept, like you put the bird to bed, you put the sheet over the bird cage, same thing. I'll show people, the cat will freak out when you first trap it. Sometimes they just sit there and eat, but 90% of them freak out. Because even if it's quiet, it just slams, they're trapped. So you run up, you cover it. By the time you count to 3, they've completely calmed down. So that's why you always have to be there. The main rule of trapping is it's very hands-on. You can sit there in your car, on your phone, or in somebody's yard, it's sort of free time, but you have to be there. The most dangerous thing is leaving a trap unattended. Because you get a cat to come in and there's no one there to cover it. And now he's just freaking out. And he's freaking out. Other animals may come by. People are like, well, you could cover the trap first. Okay, well then you still have the front door open and then the wind blows. And now you have a cat in your yard all night who's hurt himself. So the most important thing of trapping is you have to be there. Or if it's a cat on your deck, you're in the house and you're peeking out every 2 minutes. You're not going to the store. You're not leaving the set at night. That's one of the main hurdles is people, a lot of times I think that us trappers are magic, and we really just have time. Because you have to be there. I have a little trail camera I can set up on someone's deck so I can sit out in front and watch it that way, and then immediately run back. But TJ, right, it's not the hardest part, but it's just the most time-consuming part. You have to be there. So that's why we need trappers, as Tammy's saying, because you could call me about 8 cats in your neighborhood, but if you can't trap yourself or you can't help us, it's one of us sitting on a street waiting for cats to come up in the traps we've set. It's not us putting 8 traps by houses and coming back hours later. That's absolutely not what we do. And if anybody ever tells you that it's okay to leave a trap unattended, they are wrong. They might not know better, or they've just been very, very, very lucky. But one time I came upon a scene where someone had a trap from us. This was years and years ago. And I came out to their yard. And they had poorly put out their bonfire from the night before, so that made me mad. The trap was as far, you're the bonfire. Trap's right here, no lie, a washcloth like that. Thank God there wasn't a cat in it. Also, it was like a slight incline. Like the cat could have rolled into the fire. It was just so crazy. But so people don't understand how very important that is. You have to be there for the cat's safety, right? We're doing this to help cats, not to hurt them. So you have to be within the front of the house, peeking in the back, peeking out your window, that kind of thing. You have to be hands-on. And that's where a lot of times homeowners can help us. Or I'm like, are you home all day? Can you help me watch this trap? So then I can maybe trap a couple spots because you're watching on your deck and you're gonna cover them for me right away. And then you're watching on your deck. So it's where people can help us even if they're not willing to trap. It's like, can you be home to monitor for me? Because DJ and I can go set traps all over and do our thing, but we can only be one place at a time. You know, and you really, and I've done that driving down the street, you know, you play these little games, but you really need to be there because the most important thing is to keep the cat safe, right? That's why you're doing this. So when I'm trapping, I will just set it like this. I don't put a towel in when I'm trapping beforehand because to me, that towel smells like something. My car, another cat, the laundry, whatever, and they're usually like, what's this? And they just spend the whole time sniffing the towel. I also don't put newspaper in the bottom. I used to, I've trapped in Philadelphia, Michigan, Connecticut, upstate New York, and now here. And I always lined my traps, always. It was just neater, it kept the food out, whatever. Here, I know we're not called the Windy City because of the actual wind, but it's crazy, no matter where, and it's a calm day, and my paper would rustle. And nothing freaks the cat out more than he's trying to check that out, and a bunch of newspaper rustles. So it does not hurt their paws, they go in anyway. The main thing is to make sure that the trap's level and flat. You can't have it cattywampish, you can't have part of it elevated. And you put your food here, you can even put a little smidgen, like a quarter of a teaspoon of food right there, like a little happy trail to lead them in. But you don't need to line it. And when you get the cat and put it in your garage really quick or bring it here because you've already talked to us, we'll go through that. We do line them, so they're comfortable in there. And it catches their waste and then any food spillage, and it does keep their paws fine. And every day we have volunteers who will change the paper and everything. I'll give you a quick look at that too, because that's another part of volunteer help that we always need, is to help them care for TNR cats. But if we don't have anybody to trap them, we don't have anybody caring for them, right? So it's not a difficult thing, you just have to be patient, which I am not, yet I get very zen with my kitties, and you have to have a little bit of time. What's fun though, I guess the way to say it, or fulfilling, is obviously you're helping so many cats, and then as a trapper, you can work on your own schedule. So Mary is a volunteer here at the building, and she helps with, well, everything, and takes care of CIT and stuff. But if she doesn't show up at 8 o'clock, and other people are planning on her to go a medical thing, whatever, it's a big thing. I'm talking to one homeowner about the cat. It's my schedule before work, after work. You can sneak it in. You have an hour, go try to trap some cats really quick. You have 3 hours, go try to trap a bunch of cats. So you can be more flexible. You're more autonomous. It's like your project. And that being said, it can also be very fulfilling then when you get them, because you're like, that's awesome. We just got the 5 cats. And we'll bring them in and get them fixed. And it's Tammy. Tammy's over here. She sneaked in if you guys didn't see her. She told me this morning, we have so much money to fix cats, and we have a vet that would probably love to be overwhelmed. We just need more people to help track. And because one person's working one site for an hour, you know, you need more people to help, or more people willing to help in their own neighborhood, help us that way kind of thing. So here is the True Catch. I'm gonna put it over here just so you guys can get a look at it. And I'll show you then, I don't know the name of this trap. It's one of the silver ones. But 90% of the traps will have a back door. Honestly, if you come to borrow one, because you guys will be newer to what you're doing, just even say, I need to borrow one with a back door, please. Because we have a couple that don't, and it's a little more difficult. You have to reach your arm in, and it's actually harder for us to caretake too. So this day and age, I think most of our traps do have back doors. You can always ask for one though, because it's easier to get started. And if you are willing to try to help trap for us, we definitely at least want to make it pleasing and as easy as we can to get going. You will have enough problems and troubles down the road as you keep doing this. So this door has a little lock, like it would flip up, and you would latch it. So in the meantime, you're going to trap, take it off, this door comes out totally if that's easier for you. And again, you'd still put your food here. Now this space is larger, so you could use a little dish. You could use a little paper plate. Not all the trip plates are as far forward. You can see that one there's less space, this one there's more space. So you still put your bait there. You would close up this door, And in this case, there's nothing holding it. So if the cat grabbed it, he could work it out. So I would lock this one as soon as I put the food in there to set. So that's locked. I apologize looking backwards. I may have done it poorly. You guys be walking. So then the front, same idea, but this is a spring-loaded trap. They call those gravity traps. So when he hits the trip plate, the bars disconnect, the little rings fall down. This one is a little more aggressive. So this one you have to push the door forward. Oh, and if you pull up the lock, push the door forward, and then the whole thing comes up. And then there's a little hook right here. See, that works with the trip plate. You pull the door up, and actually the hook goes under the door and is holding the door down. So this one, I'm just going to push it from the back to show you the force. Cat comes in. That's a hefty trap. It gets the job done. An adult cat who is in here eating should just be fine. It's got a little bit of space, so they pull in a tail really quick. I don't like these traps. They're not my favorite for many reasons. Also, if you were ever doing kittens, you call us or you tell Tammy I'm going to trap, let us know what's going on. Because if there's 3 big tomcats in your yard, great. If you have a mom with kittens, we want to get you something more gentle, because kittens will follow each other in. And if one goes to close there, it just sort of scoots a butt and they go in. This is, you know, it's quite loud. So a lot of people too, who want to try or start with cats in their yard, they go to Harbor Freight or wherever, Amazon, and order a trap. Any trap that ever folds up, throw it away right now. Don't ever use it. Cat will get out of it, I guarantee it. And if you really think that you're going to get a trap even for your yard, or you just want to have one, in my opinion, it is worth it to invest in one of those. I think they're up to $95, whereas something like this you might be able to get for $45. But in the interest of it, no, how much are these now?
At least 75.
Yeah. Okay, so for an extra $25, you can get the better tool. And if you do want a trap, even if it's trying to help your neighborhood, you think it's something you're into, obviously we can loan them to you. But I do like having my own tools, so I have a supply of traps. And it's worth it to pay a little extra to get those.
Real quick on the topic of what you're saying
Yeah.
now about buying traps elsewhere.
Yeah.
So Tractor Supply sells a trap that looks almost like that. However, the door is more narrow.
Yep.
And there's gaps on the side.
Yes.
And it is a safety issue. And I trapped a cat recently with a trap like that, and she almost forced her head in between the two and would have gotten caught.
Exactly.
Right,
So
and if it's kittens, I mean, they're just squeezing through. Right?
They're totally
gonna
gonna
get out.
squeeze
So don't waste
through.
your time if you decide to invest.
thank you for reinforcing that. Also, sometimes you pick them up and they're not as sturdy, and you get a big, anxious tomcat in there. When I first started borrowing traps or doing stuff, right, same thing, boom, they're gone. And you give them a space that big, they'll force their body through there. So, where I said nothing is more fulfilling than helping a situation, nothing hurts your heart more than when you've trapped a cat and then he is not in the trap anymore. And it's going to be forever till you get him back, because now he is pissed and scared. So it's one of those, my mom and my dad are always like, no, it's a tool, invest in your tools. So if you're going to do stuff, your trap's your tool. That being said, we have many to borrow from, and we often have a lot of the brown ones, we call the brown ones. The True Catch is the brown ones. If you do want to get a brown one, they're sold. Really only get them from their website, truecatch.com. They're based in one of the Dakotas. They're really good with customer service, and they're the lowest and the best. Any Amazon or something, even it might be that, it's still going to charge you an extra $20.
Laura, is that silver one called a tomahawk? Is that what that's called?
There's also, the Tomahawk, Have a Heart, Safeguard, anything like that just says like live animal trap. Right, it's something you don't want to do. In for a penny, in for a pound. If you're going to spend $75, you might as well spend $95. And I had a woman who didn't listen to what I said at all one time and left the trap out and never actually got in there. And it did work, one of the plates, and I called them and they sent me a new trap. So their customer service is very, very good. Because they're a small company, so they still care. They'll answer the phone, they're there. Sometimes though you will go on the website and they're like 2-month backlog on traps because they've only made so many. So you're not going to get one tomorrow, but we do always have them to loan. But yes, if you're going to invest in stuff, I always recommend that. It's easier. There's not this kind of stuff that dangles. Those fit beautifully, at least 4 wide in the back of really any car. I had a Jeep Wrangler, would easily fit 4. Now I've got my dad's Ford Edge, and it's like 4.5. My husband's got a QX80 that'll just fit 5 of those straight across. And they're nice too because you can double stack them. So you can roll out with like 10 or 12 traps if you want, and then just totally get a ton of cats. So the main thing, someone calls for help, and Tammy needs someone to go trap. So let's say all of you have, did everybody fill out the, who else didn't, are there, oh, I was like, oh, you guys did the whole front page. I was like, someone's not giving me their name. Did you guys all write everything down? Oh, here you go, thank you. So like Tammy calls me, Tammy calls DJ.
Can I bring something up?
Absolutely.
So that sucker is more than 12 pounds. You put a 10-pound cat in it, you have to be able to deal with that.
True.
That's under 10, you know, and
Depending what wire
it's just
they use.
yeah, and it all depends on the company's supply chain.
Right, if somebody wants to, I mean, go ahead and
That
figure it
trap
out.
is much heavier than one from 7 years ago
And
because
usually
they had
those
a
have
different
one
weight
trap.
of metal.
Right, and then you've got 3 or 4 of those.
I think True Catch does sell on Amazon now too, so I think you.
They do, but I think it's up for like, oh, maybe direct. The last time I saw it was like 110
Yeah, I think it's.
instead of 95.
Yeah.
I guess if you want, if Amazon will bring it in 2 days, that
Yeah,
might
I
be
think
worth
will,
it.
Yeah.
But in a pinch, yes, please feel free to play around with these and touch. So the one in your right hand goes behind the stick on the door. So lift your door up with your left hand a little more. Yep. Now pull up the stick and let them rest against each other that way.
Oh.
Too high,
So-
right? And then you'll
No,
find a
make
sweet
like
spot.
like a cross.
Yep.
There you
Yes.
go.
There we go.
Yes. And you would even go up a little more, so it's almost in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is just a question, so I go ahead and play with it. And once you get a feel for it, you can do those in your sleep.
Yeah.
And sometimes right with the new ones, it might, as you walk away, it slips. You saw in that case, it didn't close really. So what I always like to do, even with my own traps, because they've been borrowed, is I'll always set them when I'm ready, just slap the back first to make sure they're gonna close. Before I take it out and put it on the street, because I have been burned. Any cat that goes in and eats and it doesn't close, you see it, usually because you're watching, so you usually just sort of walk up and he'll leave, and then you fix it or replace the trap, and then usually they come right back. If they've gone in once, they will usually go in again. If they get scared off by the garbage man, just give it 5 minutes, because if they were already eating, they're gonna come back, just hang out. But some of the traps are new, so they might be a little sticky or something maybe bent, so it's never a bad idea just to make sure that trip plate's gonna go off as you get it set.
Did you mention the twist ties?
Not yet. Also, sometimes kittens might be a little light, so you'll see, I think this is the one that didn't want to close for me 100%. But you see, sometimes you can put the trip plate up, see these are pretty low. So you'll see there's a variety. And these are all made by like a small company, so it's what kind of wire, whatever they have. So this is a lower trip plate. If I had 3 traps with me, I'm looking at them first. I would be like, okay, I've got that one. Do I have any bigger ones? I have kittens. Some of the trip plates go up quite a bit, like quite a high angle. And that I'll often use if I have them with me for a kitten, because then it gets them up a little more, and then their fat butt will bring it down, because it's such a difference. If it's just this little bit sometime in your light, sometimes you won't set it off. Now my pinky worked. Earlier it didn't close it. So you'll see that sometimes with kittens. Again, I mean this nicely, love them. Kittens are stupid. So if they go in and eat and it didn't close, fine, great, do another one. They'll usually go right back in. So them not tripping off a trip plate is not the end of the world, because that will happen. But it's always good to check your gear, and you'll see that some angle more, and some you can see you'll set a little more sensitive, you know, where she had the bars crossed. Sometimes they're right at the edge. You'll get a feel. They're not all exactly the same. They all sort of have a sweet spot. And I have also set them too. You think it's great, and you walk away and close it on you. So then you come back and you set it maybe a little more tightly. That's one of the things I like too about having my own traps, which I have to keep better track of them. I think I have like 25, but I think I only have 20 in my garage. You start to get a feel for what sweet spot and what works where. But so it's relatively easy to set, and then you watch it. So now, say you're in the yard and you've got the cat, okay? And now if there's 3 cats around, and if you get one, the other ones may sort of hang out. Now ideally you've set at least the amount of traps you have for the cats. Let me back that up. If you're going to a site with 2 cats or 3 cats, I always bring 1 extra trap. If you're going to a site where Tammy's sending us with 10 cats, I'm not setting 11 traps at once. That's just too much, and what if you don't get them all? It's a lot of food to put out. In that case, I'll still usually do groups of 3 and 4. see who you get. But if you have a couple cats and they're all sort of sniffing one trap and you've caught one guy, and that guy isn't freaking out, I'll hang back, because sometimes the other cats will see and go, oh, we'll go in there and eat too, and they go ping, ping, ping. Sometimes they're around and you get one and everybody freaks out and runs away. All right, well then, grab that guy right now just to get him out of here. So before you do this, they all have a little chain and a hook. You just put this in the back door. You're grabbing the door and this bar. So now even if something happens, it won't open no matter what. And then the twist tie Tammy's talking about is the
Laura,
piece-
do you want to move it back to that table so everyone can
the
see?
piece de resistance. So right now, pretending you have a cat in here, you've clipped the back, and already right away you've totally covered it. So then you will end up having more of these than you ever want in your life, and you'll show them the laundry and your purse and everywhere else. So these are the twist ties. Again, he's still covered because you don't want him to freak out. So you're going to come over. I'm uncovering this to show you guys. You're going to grab this ring and tie it to the bottom of the trap. Because now we have super secured him. So now even if, let's say he pulls the towel in and is working up this, sometimes they'll work the towel in, they'll drag it in. He can't force this door open no matter what. Also, never had it happen, knock on wood. If this rolls over, that door would pop open and then he'd be out. So now you've secured it. Oh, I didn't get back. So there's no way to get them out. And then when you show up to us with a cat like this, it's amazing. When we set them on the table, where I'll take you guys a little bit, and we put paper in them and feed them and everything is great. Because once you trap two, you're gonna know in advance that you're gonna trap, or you're gonna call Tammy and say I have a cat in my yard, or you're gonna tell her that you would like to help trap, and she may give you a small project to start, which would probably be someone else's yard. It's set up in advance. You don't just randomly go, I want a cat, or I want a trap and I have a cat. That is no good. You don't just want to call it right a Sunday and be like, I just trapped a cat, and we're like, but why, when, who, what? We need to know in advance. This time of year especially, because we don't even have any vet appointments right now. So what do? We'd have to take the cat to county, it's a whole thing. Even in the summer or when we start up in the spring, you want to reach out to Tammy and know in advance, okay, we've got spots. And then she's aware that, okay, I'm making up a name, sorry, Shirley's out trapping. So she knows that I'm gonna get some, DJ's gonna get some, other people can get some. She's like, all right, Shirley came by, got a couple traps, just so she knows how many cats may be in or out. And then we're aware. And then we know that if you trap the cat at 8 o'clock at night, we've already talked to you, we won't be here to get it. You're gonna have to keep it in your garage overnight and come in the morning when a volunteer will be here, and then we'll take the cat from you. And we care for it, and we'll feed it, take care of it, take it to the vet, get it all done. We keep them then overnight for 2 nights to make sure that they're not bleeding and eating. And then you guys pick your cat back up and you set it free on Saturday morning. So it's a once you get the cat and bring it to us, then you get to step back for a couple days until you need to let it go. And after 2 nights in recovery, it's more than ready to let go. We've made sure that it's healthy and good to go. And then you guys return it to where it's from, and then you can trap again a couple days later. Normally we have appointments on Thursdays. So we stack up cats days before that, and we'll take them all in, you pick them up, and then we start over again. So it's not like a one and done. You said you had the 4 cats in your neighborhood, let's say. You may get 2 right away when we talk and you want to start. And then it may be a little while before you get another one. It's often like works in progress. And as a trapper, well, DJ and I both, I know he has many irons in the fire. I always do. You know, 4 or 5 or 6 spots we're working on, and then Tammy will come with an emergency spot, so that takes over these spots. And some of them are neighborhoods where you're like, I'll just always be trapping here at some point because cats show up. Oh, shoot. So it's not always a one and done. But again, too, that's where I, especially with my schedule and everything, it's like, great, I can trap here, I can trap there. You can make it work with your own schedule. If something happens, you're not letting 20 other people down because you're not showing up at the time you said you were going to be, you know, in a shelter setting like that. Also, when I show you the TNR room, that's a little different too because you're cleaning the cats and there's a little bit of flexibility there. Maybe within a half an hour when you show up. but it's not so as involved as Mary's like, don't tell people about CIT. But if you're
No, tell people about
if you're taking
CIT.
care of kittens, you get to totally snuggle kittens, and it's epic. But then if you say you're going to be here Friday at 3, you really have to be, unless you call in advance, because now they're counting on you, seriously. And maybe a kitten won't get fed. I mean, it won't get fed, but you know what I mean? You're right, kittens starve. No. But then you're more of, it's like, it's not work, but you're more of a time commitment. Whereas a trapper, I've even been like, I'm not working today, and I just go out. We know we've got appointments, we go from there. Or I get called into work, fine, I just let the lady with the cat know to feed the cat. Because it's the main thing too, what do you do to get the cat? Well, you don't feed the cat, you tell the people not to feed the cat that day. Or if you know you're gonna be trapping later, you don't feed the cat that day. And you gave them maybe a little only dinner, if you're in charge of that. And so then when you roll up with your trap, this is great food. I like to always crack the can of food when I'm standing out there. I don't quietly get it prepared in my yard. I'll usually look around and crack the can really loud and shake a couple bags. And then I'll go set up the traps and put them out. Usually you want to try to set the traps where the person feeds them. Sometimes there isn't a feeder, so you want to set the traps where the cats are. So if you pull up and there's 8 cats sitting in front of a garage that this guy needs help with, you're going to pull up and look, and you're going to open a can, and odds are 7 of them will run and 1 might sit there. Go sit your traps there, because if they were there, odds are they'll come back there. So make it stinky. You don't want your traps to be touching row houses, but you can sort of put them near each other. A little bit away, so if one closed off, they might not all run, but also they feel safety, in the numbers. They're all hanging out together. They want to go all eat together. So if you have those traps out. That being said, too, like I said, if there's 8 cats, I'm not going to set 8 traps right away. That's a lot. So I'll set 4, because you're going to get a couple, and then at that point, you need to pick them up and cover them, and then you replace the trap. And if you got a cat, let's say, in the sidewalk the first time, always put another trap on that sidewalk. You'll find a little magic spot where they seem to keep going to that one trap. That's a great place to repeat. Also, no matter what you do, there's often a little food spillage. Now you're working on top of that spot, and it smells all good. Because Tammy's here, I know I told you to put the can in. You can also put your food on a paper plate and put it down, and then push your trap into it. Makes the cat work harder to get the food. It does also make a mess, but it is an option. If you have a cat, let's say in your yard, and you set a trap and he's not interested at all, but you're feeding this cat, you can do a thing that's called bait training, which I have a number of caretakers do, and I'll drop off a trap. And these are nice with this lock. Let's see if I can work backwards. We're just gonna clip it open. Hang on, I can't. Sorry, I can't see. We're gonna clip it open at the top. Now this won't close, and then you start feeding the cat in here. Bowl first here for 1 day. The next day you put the bowl in here. It's like death by inches. Next day here, and eventually the cat gets used to going in. Once you're like, okay, I've acclimated the cat, desensitized him to that trap, then yes, you'll close it, turn it around, and set it properly. It doesn't matter what end they get used to going into, and trying to prop open this door is like a whole thing with a bungee cord. This is really easy. But this is an easy way, even if you guys have cats right now, because we don't have appointments yet, once it's not 20 below, you could almost start getting them acclimated now. So then in March when we have appointments, these cats are already living in the traps, and then they're so easy to get. So that's a good way to get a cat used to it if you think they're going to be resistant. There's some cats that will just run and jump in the trap, and there's some cats that take a long time. So that's another trick. It's called bait training to get them used to it. So I think I have notes, but I don't, so I'm trying to think if there's anything. Do you guys have any questions? Quick, I can pause for a moment. I've gone through a lot already, I know. Am I good?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think you're the only one, I'm good.
There's one thing I relate to having a bowl of M&Ms at a party. If they're really not interested in the food, you take a couple forkfuls and you pitch it, within 10 feet. And they go, oh my God, there's got to be more of this. And then they look harder.
Mm-hmm. You've also told me smear some on a tree.
Yes.
Because they're going to go up by the tree and then they smell that. And it's like the potato chip, as Tammy says. Or, again, too, where you can do, you have all your good food in the back, nothing by the chip plate, and you put, 3 pieces of dry food here and 3 pieces of dry food here. It's like a Hansel and Gretel or a potato chip. They might not want to go all the way in, but enough to dip their head and go, oh, Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, a couple more. Oh, a couple more. And then before you know it, boom, it closes. So you can also do the little potato chip, Hansel and Gretel trail. But it has to be minimal, because if the cat is not hungry for this, right, doesn't matter what you do. Because again, I've seen so many things nicely. I'm not going to name names of people, but you know, I'm in the front, let's say with my trail camera looking at the trap, and the cat's lingering, and I'm like, hey, can you take, and I'll text him because I don't want to come back, I'll scare him away. And I'll literally try to be so specific. Can you please take 3 pieces of dry food and drop it like 2 places in front of the trap like a trail? And no lie, I came back and she had a full paper plate of wet food like there. And I was like, what are you doing? I think I may have said it nicely. What are you doing? Because she's like, well, no. And I was like, well, no, that's literally not what I said at all. But also just think of it, if the cat eats here, why are they gonna walk back here? And the trap doesn't close if the cat doesn't walk on the trip plane, right? It's just like, it's basic mechanics, science, I don't know, right? But you have to lure that cat to the back. Cat food is great. Dry cat food, and I know people are like, well, they don't like wet. Usually any street cat will love wet because it stinks. Trapping with dry food is not horrible, but it's not enticing. So you want some wet food. Friskies is great. I find the shreds works well, like the chicken shred, not the shreds, the fillets, the little rough kind of guys. They like that. It usually gives them a second to hunker down, and it's easy to deal with in the back of the car. You can sort of shake some out or get it out, because you run out of spoons or bowls. Sardines are great. They're a little pricier. Tuna fish is great, but if you spill it on yourself, you're going to smell all day. Same thing with sardines. Because a lot of times I'll trap before work, and you do not want to get. I just remember one time I was like, the cat just peed on me, and I did go late to work that day. But you get sardines, it's all day. That's a good one. Hot, greasy fried chicken, like without the skin, but like that KFC is usually like, if you can get it, that's a trapper's dream, because it just smells really good. So the stinkier the food, the better. Sometimes I'll have caretakers, I'm out there trapping for a day, and they're ready to leave, like, oh, I normally cook them chicken and salmon, do you want that tomorrow? I'm like, I would have loved that today. So, we'll do their normal food, we'll put it in there, and you're like, thank you. And people will sometimes do whatever you feed them, that's great. If you want to give it to me, I'll happily put it there. I'm not going to use their favorite bowl because it's not going to fit and it doesn't matter. But we will take your whatever chicken heart stuff that you do, that's fantastic. Otherwise, just a good wet food. And when it's not this cold, I always do anyway, I think it's frozen now, but I always have wet food in my car, as I'm sure DJ does, and at least one trap. You never know what you're going to find. But so the supplies are pretty basic to start. You need a trap, you need some food, some twist ties, some towels. And then what DJ brought over here is a trap divider, which this is, when we have a cat trap, I can show you the TNR room. There's no one in there, right?
There's just I washed the kennels yesterday, they're in there.
Oh, okay, well we can actually do it out here. I can even bring paper. But this is in essence, just a divider if you needed to keep a cat in one spot in the trap. So DJ's awesome, he's gonna grab some newspapers. So when we have your cat in here and we're taking care of it, this helps keep it to one side while we clean this side. And then, we'll come pushing the other way and that. So when you bring a cat to us, okay, there's a cat in this trap. Get down there, kitty. We're gonna uncover him a little bit and we're gonna push him to one end. And he's gonna be like this. And if you're ever using a trap divider, ask me how I know. Always make sure it goes away from you. Don't ever tilt it like this or tilt it forward, because then the cat can just come at you. Always make sure that it's angled far. And you're not gonna hurt the cat. It's dull, but you want them to be over there. So what we can do, or Debbie, or any of our volunteers in the TNR room, is then we take newspaper, that may be an excessive amount right there, and spread it out, okay? So now you're like, okay, that's great for your feet, kitty. So then we'll undo this, because we haven't fed him yet, so I haven't relocked everything. Tammy does it in a different order, I know. Come over here. Sometimes you have to go to scissors. Don't go down there, because it's covered now. Do the same thing, untwist this, put some paper down in there. So you have a kitty that's totally papered. But then he'll go potty at one end or the other, and the next day we'll do the same thing and take the paper out. And that's why we keep them to get fixed, and then afterwards. And that also helps us to monitor anything. If there's any bleeding or any issues, we can see it on the paper, any other things we need to deal with. But that is, excuse me, the second step. Usually you won't be doing all of this. You can do it here, we'll show you when you bring your cat. But if you're trapping on your own, it's not like you're doing that in the back of your car really quick. because you really just want to lock that trap up, get the cat in your car and get it here, or to your garage overnight if it's late, which happens. In that case, put a garbage bag down so you don't get maybe pee-pee everywhere. And the cat, like this, with the food you trapped with, could just sit, not right now, it's too cold, but a normal temperature on your garage floor. 2 towels so it can't see out. It doesn't have to have water overnight, doesn't have to have more food, you don't want to open it. It's fine without newspaper for right now, because anytime you open the trap, there's always a risk it can get out. And even with the best and most experienced of us, accidents happen. So you definitely don't want to do that to yourself. And as far as the cat being fine without food or water, when we take them to get fixed, they don't get food or water all night. You know, like surgery. So no one would die. Obviously, we don't want to just throw them in the garage when it's this temperature or 97 degrees outside. But that's why we talked to Tammy in advance, so we know when there's a plan. And maybe you can only get this cat at night. Then let's wait till it's not 97 degrees, because you know in 3 days it'll be 85 again. You know, you just sort of be aware, and you have to plan it sometimes. And you wake up one day with the best intentions to trap and it's raining, go read a book. You're not gonna get cats in the rain. I'm not gonna get cats right now. If there was a cat outside right now in need that like came to us, he's a friendly, we could probably just grab him. But there's no ferals just like running free right now. They're all hunkered down. They're in their shelters, they're under their deck. A lot of caretakers stress out, they call us, they haven't seen them. Because like animals know, I don't see a bunch of birds and raccoons right now either. They know, they sense things in the weather, they'll hunker down. If you do see a cat outside when it's this cold, and you see it, and it appears to be in need, it is probably a friendly, and it may very well be in need. But that being said too, try to talk to the cat or call it. That cat takes off, that cat takes off. If it's outside, it's finding its own thing right now. Not to be flippant or, you know, heartless about it. They're not all gonna die right now, right, in the cold. So we get a bunch of calls right now. People have brought ferals in or this or that, and it's like the cat was fine. I told Tammy this morning when I first started out, I did go around like the ghetto one night, 15 years ago, picking up cats I'd already trapped, thinking I could hold them better in my car or my garage. And then my woman I knew at the time who was sort of a mentor, she's like, you know they're gonna be fine. So I was like, yeah, that one was actually like trying to go probably in its shelter. So I kept them that night because I had already messed up their systems, but I never did that again. They're animals, they'll figure it out. Anything in need, and people will post right now too, might be a friendly loss. But if a cat's coming to you in this weather, it probably really does need your help. It's not just like the feral you're gonna see around in the spring. And in that case, call us, call Tammy. People who now are texting me, going, well, I've been feeding it for 3 weeks, but I just now brought it in. Let us know when a cat shows up too. Even if we can't address it right away, it's on our radar. The worst thing is when people call us and the kitten's already like 8 weeks old. And it's like you've been feeding them since March. Yeah, I don't want to bother you guys. So it's good to know in advance. So you see cats in need, you know, you guys, you can always try to help. But right, the cat runs away, we're not chasing cats down. It's not like that. Like, DJ and I have done some crazy things, and I have too. But this isn't, you're not like running through the woods wrangling the actual cats. You are climbing in the woods, and it's gross, and you're leaving a trap, and then like sitting behind the bushes watching it while your butt gets numb because you're crouched in a weird position and you just want to go back to your car and have a Coke. Like, that's what trapping is, but it's fun. And the more cats we trap, the fewer are going to be put down in shelters, fewer kittens that are going to be unwanted, fewer kittens we're going to have to find homes for, fewer kittens are going to be listed on Craigslist. So trapping one cat literally can save like 100 just preventing their births. And female cats can get pregnant while they're nursing, and it only takes 9 weeks. So the 9 months, 9 weeks. You know, kittens
Their
are real fast.
uteruses snap back into use in 2 weeks.
So people are like, oh, she just had them. I'm like, no, probably pregnant again. They can also get pregnant from a couple dads. So nature, but yes.
My daughter, this is kind of how we got interested in all this, found this little stray cat, and she lives an hour from us, in their backyard, 8 weeks before she was getting married. Was taking care of it, feeding it in their little outdoor mud room. And one day they turned around and the cat's in the house with her head in the bucket. They took her in, she wasn't trapped, she was pregnant, and due the week after the wedding.
Oh my gosh.
I said, in mortal words, bring the cat to my house. Because I wasn't gonna drive out an hour every day. I work
Right.
full-time, he works full-time, to try to tend on 10-month-old cat, 7 kittens.
Yes.
10-month-old cat.
They can get pregnant at 4 or 5 months. Yes.
Yes.
And so a couple things about all of this. So cats can get pregnant, start breeding at 4 or 5 months. You can fix a pregnant cat. You should fix a pregnant cat. Nothing to say about that. And sometimes we get them so late, we've had, Tammy calls them our blessed vets in the building. But there's nothing, people go, well, it's pregnant. Okay, well, do you want those 8 kittens? Because let's just stop this down. It's all very humane. I don't have to go into huge details of it, but it's done in a vet's office and it's very humane under anesthesia. We call it spay abort. But it's the right thing because there's too many cats already. We have a mom here who gives birth. We are happy to help her. We find one on the street, but why allow somebody, because sometimes too we don't even know. And what is she, a week pregnant? You know, we're not doing little tests here to determine. So the vet, what I tell people, and it's still true, the vet makes that call. We take every cat to the vet as soon as we trap them or within 3 days. And the vet will make that decision based on their examination on what is best for the health of the cat and any potential kittens. So not trying to duck out of anything there though, but the vet is the experienced one, right? We give it up to the medical authorities, so to speak authorities, but as to what's best for the cat. But don't ever let that deter you. And we've also had cases where people are sure the cat's pregnant and it's a condition called pyrometria, which is like a huge inflamed uterus that will kill them. So you never are just like, I think she's pregnant, I'll get her later. No, that's like, get it now. So they can get pregnant at 4 months. They are pregnant for about 9 weeks. As soon as they have the kittens, they can basically get pregnant 2 weeks after that. They will nurse the kittens for a while, ideally about 4 to 5 weeks old. They'll start bringing them out for regular food. That's when you'll start seeing them, or if you tell me you have kittens, I'll say, well, wait till mom brings them out for food. Because we want mom to teach them stuff. They start coming out for food. About 6 weeks is when we separate mom and kittens, ideally. That means we trap the kittens for foster and socialization, which is CIT is cats in transition. It's basically ends up being a lot of kitten room. And we will fix the moms and put them back. Any later than 6 weeks, 7, 8, 9 weeks, these kittens are not always able to be socialized. And we often don't even have enough fosters for kittens that are ethically friendly. So again, too, if you don't want to trap, fostering is always something that we need too. But so there's sort of a sweet spot. So when people call us kittens that are a week old, unless they're in danger in a dumpster, DJ and I are not going to go get them right now. We're going to find out the situation, monitor, make sure they're being fed, it looks safe, tell them to leave them alone. Oh, you've been feeding mom for a while? Great, keep feeding her. In about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, she will bring out those kittens to eat. When those kittens are eating on their own, that's when we take them. You, in a perfect world, unless someone cat is in danger or it's just, I don't know where he's from, kittens, we want them to be eating on their own before we take them. Because bottle feeding cats is an incredible amount of work. Also not great for the kitten, not the best thing. And just, it's not the best growth for them either, the way to develop, let's say. So everyone's like, well, I bottle fed, that's great. It's like a last resort. So it's people call us about kittens, it's a watching process. Same thing too though, you're a trapper, you go out and you're about to get, and you're like, oh snap, little kittens. All right, about how old are they? Tammy knows I'm a horrible, I call them like, they're this big. I'm starting to get better with my chart on aging. You can also Google a chart. But I don't know why, I can't like, they're more than 2 and less than 8. So I'll send her pictures. I mean, I have a better clue than that, but you can tell that the ears are up and stuff. So you don't want to just start grabbing kittens. Some of the worst things is when people show up and they're like, I just got these kittens. And we're like, well, where's the mom? What's happening? What's the situation? There's exceptions to that. I found them in the street. They were in a garbage can. You know, there's sometimes we have to grab kittens and ask questions later. But a lot of times it's like, let's assess, let's see what's going on first, and then we'll get them all at once. So also if you take kittens, you just sent mom on a journey to go get knocked up again and have kittens somewhere else. Also, if you come across a place with kittens you're going to trap, don't try to like make it better or a better bed or anything. Leave them alone. Mom will move them, and she'll move them a lot if she doesn't feel safe. If she feels safe, she'll leave them there the whole darn time until they come up to eat, because everybody let mom do her thing. So people who add a towel or think they're doing something better, some moms aren't the greatest, right? Nature isn't always the smartest, but 99% of the time she knows exactly what she's doing, where they should be, and why they're there. So just leave them be and watch. So some things we go on, we didn't know there were kittens, and we find kittens. Sometimes I think I have the mom, and now I see kittens. All of these, I could go through 1,000, if this happens, do this, if this happens, do this, but I also don't want to overwhelm you guys. It's one of those, you get a feel for it. We're always here for advice. Tammy's here for advice. I am around. DJ's around. We have some other trappers that if you really want to trap for us, which would be amazing, you'll have resources. You're never just like, I'm in a parking lot and no one will help me with a question. No, we've got you. That's why Feral Fixers is amazing. We have so many resources and so much experience. Tammy has been trapping for, let's just say X amount of years. I've been trapping for close to X amount of years. DJ at least has 5, 6 under his belt. I don't know, something like that. Diane's been trapping for, I mean, we can say we at least have probably 100 years between us trappers. Because it is a staggering number, but if you add in me, Diane, Sherry, Edie, Lori Brown, we definitely have to have over 100 years. And we've seen some crazy weird stuff. So we can help you through all of it. And you know, there's also different tools that I have in my car. A lacrosse net I have, which is actually great for grabbing kittens if you need them, but you don't usually want to have to grab them. A butterfly net has saved me a number of times. I have one of those disabled reacher grabber things. Those are amazing. So you start, once you trap a little bit, more things. There's a drop trap. Like I told Tammy, I said, I feel like I should have a 200 level class, because I will just come at you with so much today. I don't want you to leave and be like, what? So I'm trying to keep it 101. And if you want to trap for us, yes, there are more lessons we can give you and more gear and talk you through all of it. But it's, I don't say it's easy, but it's not complicated, right? You're at a spot, you see what's going on, you set some traps, you keep an eye on them. You're in your car, maybe on your phone, but you're still up. Read a book. People like to do audio books. I had one girl, she was like, I brought my little weights and I'm doing this in my car, Farah. I was like, good for you. I usually sit on my phone and watch them. But like you have to be willing to spend the time and the patience and maybe walk through somebody's gross backyard. Oh, sorry, or into somebody's gross, hang on, quick second. Hello.
Okay, we had a question on the live, so rather than shutting it off and starting again, I'll try to just address it for people who joined late. But she was talking about not trapping in this weather. And Laura, can you just clarify that right now, for anyone who jumped in later, maybe missed it, that we are not trapping specifically right now because it's too cold, and because someone asked a question about what if the food freezes in the trap, and the obvious answer then to that is the food shouldn't be in the trap because right now is not a great time to trap.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So
okay.
there's many reasons why we're not trapping right now. 1, in bad weather, cats hunker down. 2, it is impossible to keep the food from freezing. So now I'm clearing a spot in the snow, right? Because there's no clear grass, there's no empty sidewalk. So I'm moving snow so the ground's frozen, I'm exposing that, to put my trap down with some dry food. Because even the best wet food, I don't even know, within probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right, it's gonna freeze, even if it's hot. So now you've got, even if you newspaper to try to keep their paws warm, dry food sitting out there like this, it's getting snowed on. These cats don't need to be lured out. People like, well, let me get them. No, if they're under your deck, that's where they should be. They're warm, they're hunkered down. So we would be putting them at risk to lure them out. It's a lot of risk actually for volunteers. You can sit in your car is warm, but then we're out and about and it's very, very cold. You're not gonna be able to keep the food warm. You get the cat immediately, you bring it here. Okay, so we're gonna fix it. If it's a girl, we've just shaved its tummy. So can it go back outside? That's not nice. So now we're keeping it, which is very stressful. And if you put a feral in a cage even, they don't like that. They're just gonna sit in their little carrier for 3 weeks while they recover, because we thought it was best because we thought it was too cold. It's not too cold. Again, that being said, if I go out right now and there's some scuzzy cat in this parking lot, he is a lost, friendly, or a stray that got thrown out. We do need to help him right now. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like when you're trapping and people go, those cats must be pets, they look so good. No, those are actually probably the more feral ferals, because they're living their lives and they know how to keep clean and they know how to stay good on the streets. Scuzzy, yucky cats are usually the ones who are lost or from inside because they don't know how to stay clean without help or a couch, or where'd my food come from, I don't know. So almost the better looking cat, exceptions, maybe he just got out now, but if we go out and there's a real fluffer running through and ducks under somewhere, I'm gonna assume he's a feral. If there's a real scuzzy one, he's in need. But right now we're not rescuing them from the cold. Just like we're not bringing in, wildlife, DuPage Wildlife is not catching all the possums and raccoons. They know what they're doing. Again, because they're just, not to be morbid, but no one is gonna call us in 3 weeks time. All those cats under my deck are dead now. It just doesn't happen. Tammy made a point, we trap a cat, we put it in. You pick up the tank, you pick it up and feel the table. It's like hot to the touch. Their body heat is more than ours. And imagine climbing in basically under a deck or by, where your dryer vent comes out. They get in a spot. It's like a sleeping bag. So bring like your 2 heavy friends in your sleeping bag with you. It's gonna get real warm real quick. And if it's not, they're gonna work until they are warm enough to survive. So while everyone thinks right now they're doing a great thing by bringing a cat in, maybe it's friendly and you're the exception, but to call us and say, I've got a feral in my bathroom, that dude is probably doing just fine. And now you're gonna freak him out and stress him out. Then he's gonna leave, be extra stressed, he's got his adrenaline up, he's maybe burned some extra calories he didn't need. They just need to be hunkered down where they are right now. That being said, if you have cats and you're not sure, you're unsafe, we can make a shelter. There's a great, if you guys just even Google Alley Cat Allies winter shelters, they have like DIY. Never hurts to make a shelter. I've got one outside on our patio. I don't know if it's being used at home, but I leave a port in a storm, because I have a patio and not a deck. So we give them some. So you can always make a little flop house. But trying to lure a cat out to feed him or trap him right now is doing him a big disservice. They are where they need to be. Again, exceptions are cats that are friendly or are seriously injured. There's one you guys may have seen on Facebook, Siamese on Arboretum Drive that had a broken leg. One of our volunteers went out and got that cat right away. We're not playing around with that. There's another one I saw, another group helped, which was great. A scuzzy one, like up against a store wall outside in the snow. Those are cats right now that we would need help, not the feral you've been feeding for 6 months and you're like, dude, it's cold, come to my basement. Hopefully you have a shelter already and he's probably fine.
So the ferals that are out there who have caretakers, the best advice for them is to just continue doing what you're doing. Provide an outdoor shelter, feed them.
If they don't come out to eat today, that's fine.
And if you're in DuPage County, call us in March and let us know what's going on, and then we can help you then.
Absolutely. You can even call us now and say, I saw the video. I know you won't help me till March, but I want to get on the books. TMA would love that.
I want them to pursue me. They have to call me.
No, I said,
Okay,
if they
so-
call you now, I said, and said, I saw you on
I'm not
Facebook.
keeping
Live.
a list. They have to call me.
They have to call her in March.
You're not, I'm just saying, if this inspires someone to call you now, though,
Yes.
and says, I know you're not coming till March, but I want to get on your list now, you'd be like, thank you for calling me now.
Call me back.
So if you're on if you are on this Facebook Live, then our phone number is on our Facebook page, as well as, I believe, info@feralfixers.org, where you can send your information if you would like us to help you with trapping once we reopen in the spring.
Yes. That being said, too, if you want to help with trapping, you could call us right now, because we will get you, we can do another lesson, I'll do another workshop, we'll do one-on-one, so when March comes,
Yep.
you guys are like, I'm ready to go trap, it's spring, it's nice. So, yes, do we have any questions? We can keep it short and sweet and check you out.
Do you always return them to where you got them from?
Yes.
What if the people don't want them?
Okay, so that's a good one. You want to go ahead?
I want to go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes, there are absolutely places that they cannot go back. The people died, the house is being torn down, an entire neighborhood is being eliminated. There's 52 cats, and it cannot be supported by the area. Then we siphon them off if we can. So, they may stay here for a couple days as Laura works her magic with working cats to try and find them a place to go. But for the most part, it is so much better for them to go back. What you've done by neutering them is you've changed their focus. So maybe your yard isn't where they want to stay forever, because they don't need to produce kittens any longer. There's a yard over there. Yeah, it doesn't have as many hidey holes, but they don't have dogs. And I was only staying in this yard because of everywhere I could hide kittens in the future. Also, we have these pesky cats that decide that they're friendly. Sometimes it's as soon as they hit the door. Sometimes they come back from surgery, have already gotten their ear tip, and they go, meow. Touch me now. You never know. And then we also have people who, you're putting friendly cats back. Well, what happens is once they have those hormones dissipate, 2-3 months later, they're like, hi, I could come in now. And I warn people about that all the time. If he's already rubbing on you, well, make a plan for the future when he really wants to come in. and how you're gonna deal with that, because I but yeah, you know, and conversely, we'll have kittens who are in the desirable 3 to 4 week old range. They're batshit crazy.
Oh, kids will get so nasty. It's fun.
You
when
know.
you try to get, they'll spin like alligators and spit.
And you
and
try and try and try, and you cannot persuade them that humans are great, you know. And that's when we also have to relocate, hopefully to a building or something, you know. And still, you know, they could change further on, but they make, you know, if their area has disappeared, you know, those now 6-month-olds, they can't go back there because they don't have any friends to show them the way. But we have returned cats who are 6 months old, and they've done just fine. You know, after spending 4 months with us. So they're very resilient. I mean, cats who get out of homes, they become feral and do just fine. You know, they have great survival instincts. So it'd be great. When I first started doing this, you returned all cats. None of them wanted to be friendly. Now they've changed their attitudes.
So, and then in addition to what Tammy said, so if the cats are great and you know someone 3 doors down is feeding, but you caught them all here and those people say, I don't want those cats back. You know what you say? Too bad. Too bad. I don't have anywhere to put them. I'm not going to relocate them from your neighborhood, and I'll say that as the one running the working cat program. And if you don't want them, then don't feed them after I trap them. But there's nothing we can do. So I can either help you, how I can help you, trap and fix them, and then you can stop feeding them, or we can do nothing. And people sometimes get whatever, and you know what? That's also the beautiful part about being a volunteer on your own time. I'm not going to be, you know, right, harassed. No, and then what do? You get the cats, and you go, okay. And then, no lie, you get them and you let them out a door down at night when they're not around. And you know what? Those people, 9.5 times out of 10, don't ever call me back, because now they're not seeing the cats, because they're fixed, their behaviors are different, and they're not a problem. So I'll tell people, I can't take them. I'm gonna fix them and I'll bring them back. They may piss and moan a little bit, whatever, you bring those cats back. Let them around by a bush. We're not hurting the cats, they're where they need to be. People can just be jerks. So we get the cats fixed, we've got them chipped, we know where they are, and you let them out. Because every time someone says, I don't want them back, if I had to relocate all of those cats, I mean, it's just not possible because it's a lot, and we would never be able to help actual ferals in danger who need a spot, or from DuPage Animal Control or Aurora. So no, and a lot of people, if you're trapping, will say, I don't want it back. So you start nice though. Well, these cats have nowhere to go. Your spot is better. They know the neighborhood. It's their territory, right? Kill them with kindness first. If it's really a nuisance, you don't have to feed them anymore. Let me just get them fixed. Help me get them fixed. You know, and a lot of these neighborhoods, as Tammy can tell too based on the maps, there's a feeder a block over. There's a feeder 3 houses down.
Speaking of which, did you see our map?
Behind us.
Every red splotch is cats that we've done.
That we fixed. So, I mean, right away, I live in Westchester, which is outside of DuPage, but we're right on the edge, and Tammy lets me trap in Westchester. But all the people call this and that, and I'm like, I know of 8 feeders in your neighborhood alone, just because I live here and I've been fixing so many cats. So when people often stress and say, but no one else is feeding, they usually are. And people don't usually advertise it. No one wants to like brag that they're feeding stray cats in their yard, which is often sometimes you have to leave a little note, or you know, you're at somebody's house and you see the cats are really on the neighbor's neck. You might have to leave a nice little note to please call, you want to help, you're with a rescue group. So a lot of times it is the smoothing over of things and letting people know this is best for the cats, you can get them fixed. If you want me to take them, you know, they're going to get put down. We don't have, there's nothing. So no, if people, you work around that, you smooth it over. Like I don't just advertise to people, you know, oh, she's pregnant, well, we'll take care of it. You know, you smooth it. The vet will decide what's best. You don't give.
It could be worms.
It could be worms. It could be pyometra. But I always tell people the vet will determine what's best. We just need to get that cat. Because we had a volunteer when I first started, and she was older, but she had always said, she told them, no, their kittens will be aborted. Well, then some people wouldn't let her on the property again, and it became an issue. So I told her my way is just saying the vet makes the decision, and they do. That's what's best for the animal is in the vet's hands. So a lot of things people don't want or don't understand. So I like to get you know, I joke about being snarky. You start with kindness and information because this is the only option these animals have. And we don't have the means to relocate them. So if we can get them fixed, the fighting will stop, the peeing will stop. You know, and if people are like, oh, they're pooping in my kid's sandbox, well then let's talk. Get an emotionally activated scarecrow, put some forks in there, get a cover. You know, there's deterrence for situations. Sometimes they just can't. I have a lady and I actually gave her a working cat, and that cat's great. And then 2 kittens showed up in her yard, and they all summer literally are in all 3 neighbors' gardens, digging them up and making a mess. And she has them on video. She's seen them. And I have to get those 2 kids, they're older now, they're fixed, out of there though, because the neighbors are seriously like just distraught. Everyone's tried every technique. And the one working cat I placed, she's like, I'm discreet. So these 2 are causing a problem. So I'm going to relocate them on a farm in Batavia. But you know, that's the exception rather than the rule. Also, these cats know where they're from. Just because we take them, someone might say, oh, but there's a coyote in my neighborhood. What do you think is out in Pontiac or Starved Rock or wherever sometimes I take these cats? There's predators everywhere, and their safety is where they've been living, is where they know the neighborhood. So just to think flippantly that we can also pull them because I have a better spot is not correct either. And then if I place them and then they take off and now they're nowhere, and that's the worst when working cats don't stay. That's why we don't place them lightly, because they may not stay where I put them. We're trying to give them a second chance when they have no chance. If they're in a neighborhood, we just need to get them fixed. And someone else, if you really don't want to feed, then stop feeding, but let us get them fixed first. Any other questions or? And again, this is 101. I'm not getting into all the craziness, but I am here to help, and I'd love to do another workshop if you guys are like, that was awesome, show me the drop trap, because I'll bring it, but I just don't want to overwhelm everyone at first. The main thing is call us first.
I would say the biggest takeaway is just to contribute here. I'd say the biggest takeaway is be prepared.
Yes.
You know, like, have a plan beforehand. We just helped a friend, month and a half ago at this point, maybe? No, 20. Yeah, you know, who, you know, we, even though we're not, you know, we do CIT here, right? So we're not super experienced on that side, but we know a lot and talk to Mary.
Well, you know more
like
than
that.
the average.
You know more than the average, right?
Yep.
Had he called me beforehand, I would have been able to prepare him so much more.
Yes.
He just calls me and says, I trapped him. What? I mean, he himself is unprepared with a lot of stuff, so it made it so much more difficult to walk him through what he needs
But he
to
thought
do.
he could solve
Yes.
this one thing.
No,
He
people
just thought he
live-
could solve. He felt, and it textbook. I felt bad. It's getting cold, and this, and I've
Yes.
been feeding him, and it's messed. It's like, okay, we're here now. What can we do now? And working through where
Right.
that's at now, but. Right,
And now,
be
right, don't let
prepared.
them
It
out,
changes
let's
the
get them
outcome
fixed, but
so
right, it
much
does,
more.
that's a great plan, because I have people, right, I got a kitten. What kitten? What are you even talking about, right? No. Especially you should have known, having then friends that do this, like, hey guys.
Well, not to get into it.
No, but now you're probably like,
We had
ask
one
me
that was
anything.
prepared, and it's been great, and then we had one that wasn't, and just called me up and said, I trapped him. I'm like, okay, great, this is awful. Like,
See, but then you have to figure it out, right? Because then you're like, okay, well now the ones who know. So that's when people show up to Tammy and they're like, I got these little kittens, and she's like, well, but she figures it out, and we have volunteers, and Mary is in charge of everything kitten. But so it's a lot, right? And you have a plan. To that end, don't get super overwhelmed trapping that you pull up and you're like, there's 30 cats, I don't know what to do, this is a lot. Hey, bite of an elephant, right? Or how, you know what I'm saying? How do you eat an elephant a bite at a time? My analogies are very
We've
close.
had people who will sit in their car, sleep in their car with the cord for the drop trap, like overnight. They get addicted to this behavior. You can't do that.
No, also then that person stops, right? Because I think their husband's going to divorce them and you get burned out. So you can set your own limits. It's good stuff to talk about. My husband jokes, he's like, well, you're married, so you won't go out at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, also, I don't want to go out at 10 o'clock at night. And just for what it's worth, the early morning is great to get cats. Also early morning, because where I started trapping was in Philadelphia and Detroit and New Haven. And I work in TV news, so I can say this for the most part, druggos and crazies and criminals aren't out at 4 a.m., 4 and 5 and 6 a.m. At that point, they're asleep. You go out and try to trap at 10 o'clock at night, forget it. Sometimes it's not even safe for us, depends what neighborhood you're in. Now, Feral Fixer's based in DuPage. They're in a lot of hardcore urban areas where we're going to be trapping. But what if there's a thing, or even part of some neighborhoods, you know what I mean? Late at night is not usually good. Also, you're going to get raccoons and weird things. Even if you're sitting right here, you're like yelling at the raccoon and he still tries to go
by
in.
mosquitoes.
And that's a huge thing. I'd be like, no, I will see you guys at 4:30 in the morning, roll out for the sun's even up, you've got your traps, they're starting to come up. Most wild animals aren't gonna be bothering you at that time anyway, and I'll tell you, people out at that hour go to work or school. It's not when the thugs are out. So that is the best time to trap. Lunchtime, usually no good. What's your cat doing during the day? Sleeping, so are they. You also wanna find out, maybe the person feeds, I've had some people feed at 4:30 in the morning and you're like, that sucks. All right, let me pick a day when I'm not working till 10 o'clock at night. And then some people are like, the little old lady, she's like, I feed at like 10. I'm like, I love you. So then don't feed, I'll be out there about 10. Because the perfect time is you show up with your traps when they were gonna feed. And instead of Sally putting out the food, she stayed inside, you show up with your traps, crack, crack, crack. They're like, oh, it's just a little different, but okay. And you start getting some cats. It can be as easy and fun as that. You do have to have, which obviously mine are borderline, some people's skills. You do have to talk to these people. But most of the time, they stay away. It's nice to tell them, stay in your house. I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to see you. Because if the cats see you, they're going to think you're feeding them. I want to just come up with food, surprise, I'm a totally different person. It's like when I'm home and our cats, even now we have kittens, they're like 7 months old, but they get it quick. If I'm home and it's like dinner time, they come to me. My husband will be like, come on guys, come on. And they keep standing there staring at me. And he'll finally crack a can. I'm like, I guess he's feeding us. So it's, it's the same kind of thing. If the caretaker's there going, come on kitties. And people will do that to you and you're like, please go away. So usually when you set it up, you tell them, I'll coming back. Don't even come outside. Pretend you slept late. So then too, I don't even have to talk to people. And people invite you inside their home and you don't have to go if you don't want to. You can sit in your own car all morning. But so it's fulfilling, it just takes a little bit of time, but it's nice because it can be very flexible. And there's seriously nothing as bing when that trap goes and it closes, you're like, oh my God, and then you run up and cover it. It's just super fulfilling. So there are many ways you can help us. Trapping is one. Taking care of them when they're trapped is two. Helping with kittens, but hopefully we'll have fewer and fewer kittens every year is three. But yeah, if anybody wants to trap, we can help get you set up and we do cover all the costs. You may buy Friskies out of your pocket because you didn't come here to get any food from us, but we can supply trapping food. We have plenty of towels. We can loan traps. If you want to get yours, that's fine too. But we cover all the vet care. So it's, we're not going to reimburse you for gas or your McDonald's while you're sitting there, but you don't have to pay any vet care, which having done this on my own, it's a lot nicer when you're with a group that you don't have to worry about the vet care I because Rachel and DJ have been working on their own before they kind of got hooked up with us and still doing some things. But Tammy's got the money, so let's spend it.
Not Tammy.
She's the one controlling it though right now.
And you are a first line of people wanting to donate to us. You have to keep that in mind too.
People always say how much
you make
cost.
them happy. They hand you $10.
Yep. And you tell me we're not charging you, but we are volunteers. We run on donations. We'll gladly take your money.
We have to have their address and name.
But we don't want
they make a donation.
Any lower income or
also for the cats.
Struggling to not let us fix the cats because they don't think they can pay for it. No, we'll take them all, fix them all, bring them all back, and I'll give you a couple cases of food. We're here to help. Because we also have people then who pay way more than, let's say, their share or whatever, and it allows us to cover them, the people who aren't able to pay. So we never turn people down because they can't pay. That being said, I will tell people too, I will totally take all your money if you want to give it to me to fix cats.
And when you bring a cat, you have to have name, address, and phone number.
There's no really little, we can do a quick stop over in the TNR room, although there's nothing in there right now. But there's a little intake form. So you would write where you got it, phone number, and then you put your initials on it.
If you know anything about the cat, like it limps on its right hind leg, that's good to know going in.
I think DJ's going to grab it. It's name, known injuries. Is there a pregnant? No, I think it's known injuries. Yeah. Color. Because sometimes we do get cats that someone says they've been limping, or we'll notice something when we're getting it, or you're like, it's got a weird eye, and then Tammy will make sure that takes an extra look at that.
And correct spelling really helps me a lot because I maintain a database. And there's this woman, I've helped her for 10 years. I only recently found out her name, Ophelia, is spelled with an F. And I'm like, oh.
And when you come for the first few times, there will be someone meeting you here to get you set up in there, so you don't have to remember all the stuff. So.
Yeah. So we just put put in basic information, and then you would tape this to the top of your towel, and that way when other people come in, they know to caretake. Also too, you could maybe put like angry, so that we know to maybe do 2 trap dividers, or Tammy knows this one might be friendly, so that we give it an extra look-see, because we're not looking for friendly cats, but this is their chance to show us that they are. And ideally, we do not just like, oh, you're so awesome, we don't put you just back. You know, we'll work to get you adopted most of the time.
And while they are rubbing on the caretaker and meowing at it and everything, it hits this door and it smells the other cats, it can lose its mind.
Yes. And I've had caretakers that swear it's friendly, and I say, I'll come out and test it, because we've already fixed it. Like, I'll come out. If this cat rubs on me, I will totally take it in and let Tammy know. But, and again, 9 times out of 10 too, the cat won't even come around when I'm there, because it knows the caretaker's safe. It feeds them. They've never done, not that I'm bad, but I'm unknown. The caretakers know. Hey, he brings food every day. I know that she always smells like this, and her car makes this sound. Because the thing too, when you're trapping in a spot, you start to notice, you're like, you know my car now. You pull up and you'll see him peek out. They're very, very smart. So all of those things doesn't mean that they're friendly to go for adoption. So that's why sometimes even too, you're like, hang on, let me come over and actually see this cat. And nicely, you know, you're like, okay, are you coming up to me? Because that's some of the cats I end up placing too for our working cat program. We help DuPage County Animal Services and Aurora and a couple others. They'll have these cats that seem nice, people dump them in, they're not, or they can't be picked up or something. Well, now where they come from, we don't know. So I need to relocate those in the working cat program, right? The one in your backyard can come back because it's safe. It's these other cats because everybody thinks that something's friendly because it did one thing once, and it really needs to be evaluated before it's just hauled in somewhere.
Do you or the vets check for microchips?
Yes.
That's part of the process.
Yeah.
They
I
scan
get it, but-
first, you know, see if there's one already there.
Yeah.
Then they insert the new one. Then they scan again to make sure that it's readable.
And if we get a cat that is seeming super friendly, ourselves as trappers, we'll scan them right away to make sure they're not lost. Because that happens at least once a month, is some, oh, chipped, and Tammy's like, they're gonna come pick it up tomorrow, or one was like from Colorado, but yes. But yeah, otherwise the vet will scan them all. And everyone gets microchipped, ear tipped, so the left ear. Out here we do the left ear, and if you're looking at cats and you see all of them have little flat left ears, that means they're all fixed. And a wonky, an uneven one, a notch, I would always bring that cat in again. Because if we've done them, we'll scan them for the chip, we can put them right back. That's happened too. But better in doubt to bring them in. I have caught a couple cats where the ear tip's so little, you don't know till you get them here. But there've been a few I've even thought was tipped, but wasn't, you know, and they're like, no, it was an injury. It got ripped or something. Occasionally you can see a right ear, but a lot of times, ideally, it's a nice straight line. But if you're ever in doubt, bring the cat in, we'll scan it. Worst case, then we put them right back out, because I already fixed you. That's happened to them.
So they get microchip, rabies, distemper.
Yep. Flea treated and dewormed. And then
And-
ear tipped. And obviously spayed or neutered.
Yes.
We do not snap test cats, which is FIV, leukemia. We do not test our ferals for that because it's not cost effective, and there's no recourse for that except putting them down, and there's no need if they're otherwise healthy. So that's it.
One more thing to add.
Yeah.
When you first trap cats, sometimes they will freak out really bad. Don't like panic and think they're gonna hurt themselves. Once you recover them, they'll relax. But
Yes.
some cats will freak out really, really badly in the trap.
Yes, you're almost like you'll see like a little bloody nail or a bloody nose because they'll run into the end of it. That suction, you'll feel horrible. But again, imagine if you smashed your nose, it's gonna hurt, but you're okay. But that's why it's so important to cover them. And people will do like, I'll show up, you know, because they're watching. Let's say a homeowner's watching, and I'll say cover 100%. I like demonstrate, and they're like, "You wanted them to see out," and I'm like, "No, we don't want them to see out. If they see out, they want to get out. If you do this, you can even do 2 towels, dark. They're like, okay, and they'll just sit there, sort of indefinitely. They just feel safe and they're calm and quiet. But yeah, don't freak out. Some of them will just keep eating. Some of them will." To that end, the craziest one that stopped well, we were done for the year anyway in October. I was trapping on a woman's porch, and it was a decent sized porch. You never put a trap on a wall, never put a trap on a retaining wall. You never put a trap anywhere where the cat could tip it off and they fall over. They could get hurt, it could open. because you've not run up and tied it yet. So it was a decent porch. I mean, like she had a chair, and that's where she fed. So I had the traps back against the door, a couple feet in front of them, food. Cat was not coming around, so I went across the street. I'm watching the whole time. Cat goes in. I go, okay, I get out of my car. He starts ramming the front of the trap and got it down the stairs where it slid, and then slowly tipped over and the door opened, and then he ran around it. He was not hurt. I talked to her since. He came back that night for food. But I was like, we will get him in March. But I've never had that happen. To me, that wasn't a dangerous spot at all. There was two, I mean, I've never had a cat ramming so much and he like worked it up. But again, that's just another thought to then make extra certain of where you're trapping, right? I would never put it on a step or something like that, but this was a decent size. I mean, it was almost like this, you know, and he got it this far and then down the steps, and I'm hearing it and running and watching it. I'm like, no! But that's like the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. Meanwhile, then Tammy and Mary call and go, we have a feral that just flipped himself off the table in the TNR room. And that's why we had secured traps, so he was safe, but it was like maybe there's a full moon. But so no matter, I mean, I probably trapped, I don't even know, like 2,500, 2,000 cats, never had that happen. And I was like, and we are done for the season. It was like the last day. So I will get that guy in March, because you know the last couple months he was like, forget you. But he's fine, just a big tomcat. But like, holy what? So let alone there I'm watching 15 feet away, because sometimes you can't, you can't be sitting in the driveway. The cat's like, there's another car. So you have to like back up and just watch. I mean, and I'm like, it was just a suburban street, crazy. So you can't always account for stuff, but that's why you really, really have to watch, because even watching sometimes, things can happen. And yeah, a little bloody nose, little bloody claws. Sometimes you can't avoid that. It's all to get them fixed and stop horrific fighting and breeding, which is way better than a little bloody nose. I think that's...
Do you want to mention skunks?
Oh, so if you ever, well, one, the amount of cats I've trapped, I've probably gotten half a dozen other animals, tons. But so occasionally you'll get a skunk that comes out, and they look cute, and they will go in your trap. So let me back up. If you get a possum,
They will immediately poop.
you're gonna come over and open the door, and he's gonna sit there and play possum, and you're gonna be like, seriously? And then you're almost gonna have to like shake him to get out, and then he will run away. I don't know if you guys know possums, they're not going to hurt you, they don't carry rabies or anything. You get a raccoon, they're gonna be super pissy. So at that point too, which is why I never clip this back until I have a cat, because if you get something else, I've used a rake, and you're standing away, and the raccoon will go. Again, remember, it's not ideal, but if you do it slowly, how I was showing you guys, you flick the raccoon over with your foot. He runs free that way. But right, so a skunk, and I have gotten one twice, and a skunk is a different animal because they're cute and little and they spray, right? So Tammy has taught me the excellent way. So let's say this is a skunk, and you're like, oh my God, right? So he's super quiet, super calm. You're gonna hold the biggest towel you have all the way down to the ground. There's something about legs. You're just gonna come in real slow. You're not making a noise, you're not coughing. And as soon as you get close enough to him, and before he knows what's going on, okay, now he's covered, okay? Say your prayers. And then come over, and again, because you didn't latch this yet, pretending a skunk's in there, okay? Because they're not gonna bite you. And skunks don't wanna spray. They have to be really scared to spray. It takes a lot out of them, and we're one down for days. So you're being quiet, and you're not threatening. So far, you're good, okay? And then I'll usually come around this way, and you just sort of, and let him like waddle out, and don't move yet. Let him waddle out, let him waddle on his way, and then you go, thank you, and that's it. But you don't want to just like run up, because something about the legs, throw. You don't want to be loud. You're like, and you will have a few towels. No one goes trapping without towels. You can have a sheet, something to, right, so you're not a threatening person. And then as quick as you can. Because again, it's all calm. Because animals aren't just going to come at you unless you're threatening them. They right now think everything's okay. But that being said, I've gotten maybe 3 skunks, and it was all really early. They will be up early. I've gotten 2 raccoons at night and a possum once. And that's out of X amount of cats, so it's very rare. That's why we don't need traps set at night, when we're not home, that kind of thing. So you could get another animal, but it's very rare.
Occasionally you get a squirrel.
I've never gotten one.
I've heard.
I've never gotten a squirrel. Sometimes little birds that are almost into the dry food. I'm like, don't go in there. But very rarely, because again, you're close too. So sometimes there have been times at night, and I've had to trap at night in a parking lot or something. And like the cats are there, sort of around, you'll see a raccoon. At that point, I'll almost get out and be like, run, raccoon! And try to get him to run away. There's one parking lot where I swear I made a deal with the skunks. And it was that parking lot in Elk Grove, and I said, if you guys just stop, go away, I will leave so much food out, you'll love it when I'm done. And I swear to God, they were like, okay, because then they didn't come out, and I left huge piles. Otherwise, it was like one of those industrial parks with like the marshy areas in between, and they just start coming out of the bushes. Because everybody loves cat food. It smells really, really good. But ideally, you're not trapping at night, or you're not trapping in such a wild area. But normally you don't encounter other animals, but you can. You don't ever want to flip the skunk over like the raccoon. And again, right, just calm. They're not going to freak out right away. Get your wits about you, because it can be scary. And it's okay. Even a raccoon, they're not going to like, they might be like, ah! They're not just going to like come out and jump on your face, right? They're scared of you too. Especially if you open it and you're like, ah! You know, think how your cats freak out at home if you just do that randomly to them, right? They're like, ah! So you can do that and just get them to get the hell out of there, which is what you want for everybody's safety. So, usually doesn't happen, but again, covering, even a raccoon if you're scared at first, cover them, cover anything at first. Just cover it, then figure it out. Oh my God, I have 4 raccoons. Cover them first, just, you know, don't just like stand there and watch it all go down. Just cover them first, get your wits about you, and then figure out what to do. And if you're at somebody's house too, you can also get a rake. And now you're like, what, 2 more feet away because you've got a big rake, and you're over here. So I think you know, like my little grabber, that's why sometimes you'll find you have tools that you'll just end up throwing in your car. You're like, yep, that happened to me once, now I've got this. All right, that being said, it is about time for me to wrap up because I have to go to work. Any more questions? You guys have been great. I hope I explained enough that at least you won't just not have a plan and won't leave your trap uncovered in the middle of the night. But it's great, and it can, you know, it's as much as you want. Just don't think that because, I mean, I trap all the time, Gigi traps all the time. You can also, you know, trap a little bit. If that, no one says you have to bring in 20 cats every week to trap for us. Any amount helps. 1, 2 cats. Every person that's in a different area that can trap a cat for us makes a huge difference. Even if you are like, oh, my schedule's crazy, but call me an emergency. That gives Tammy another resource. Another person that is experienced enough to go, yeah, I'm gonna get 2 traps, leave them out by the building. I'll do that, you know, when I'm done. So any amount you can help is amazing and will help us save our cats. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
I wasn't clapping for myself, I just meant to be like,
Okay, I'm gonna have one of our trappers demonstrate using the brown trap for anyone who missed it at the beginning. So.
Would you mind taking over, honey?
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
have
that's
to.
fine.
I got to jet downtown. Thank you guys. It was so nice meeting you.
Practice
Thank
the
you.
brown trap as well right now while I do this. You're welcome to. So it's pretty simple. Like Laura said before, you're gonna lift up the back here, it's like a little W. You're gonna flip it up, lift it up, put the food in the back. Make sure it doesn't impede the pressure plate at all. So you want to put it on like a small plate or what you're saying potentially can. You want to close this, and on the front end, you're going to lift both of the rings up at the same time, open the door, and then inside of here, there's going to be a lever that you're going to raise behind the lever on the door, create a cross, and once they're pushing on top of each other like that, it raises the pressure plate in the back. So when the cat goes in, comes back to eat the food back here, they step on it, it closes the door, and then they're trapped. Cool, does anyone want to come up and try it? You good?